Welcome everybody to another edition of me doing Thalmor Radio. Today we are going to be flying off the cuff, total impromptu because Thalmor is dead or something. I don't know. I put together a itinerary in the last 30 seconds. We'll see if it makes any sense. I don't remember what happened, and nobody has planned on this, so here we go.
Well, it's like I actually did some research before the show since I had a feeling that Thalmor would be gone, so I can help you out if needed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna bring people on all the time. I'm gonna bring people on throughout the show. Just go ahead and raise your hand, and one of us will let you on if you want to say something about any of the topics. And also, if you have other topics that I missed, please let me know. The first topic we got is why Thalmor is gone, and that's because currently in Kentucky there is a huge storm, and I know I lost my power. I think Kills probably lost his power. Thalmor
Kills lost his power.
Thalmor's house got destroyed by a tree. There was a tornado that tore through and uprooted our entire lifestyle. I got off work for no reason. Everybody got off work and school. It was a grand old time all around today, and it was all because of an intra-rain and a little bit of wind, because Kentucky people are weak and they build their houses out of matchsticks. But you didn't come here to hear about the weather. You came here to hear about some crappy Nation Simulator game. First topic we can talk about is about some Rose member buying 150k food for 2,951 PPU. That seems like a good price to me. I don't know.
No, he's just being a really helpful friend to all of the resource traders of the world. I think he's just being an elite helper. I don't see the issue, man.
So can someone inform me what this is and why we're talking about it? That seems like probably a mistrade, but
it wasn't a mistrade, but it's that this guy is one of the people who's like Zig. I know you don't like this, but he's one of the resource flipper guys. So he again was flipping, and he's either his trade bot fucked up or he's a moron. You can decide at home which you think is more like the case, and he ends up buying that amount for that price. Because
that's why I remember that name. I was wondering why I recognized that name. I actually, when I saw the post, I immediately went to the what is it called? The multi-buster tool on myself to see if it was the Rose member that I share 100, 200 IPs with. But that's actually DTC that I'm a multi of, not Zulan. That's who it is. Yeah, Undefined. And Undefined is not Unlimited, who's another player who's the leader of Goon Squad. And Goon Squad is not Goons, which was an old alliance that nobody liked and thought were Nazis. And speaking of Nazis, have you guys seen any Nazis on the game lately?
But didn't Goon Squad just get their bank looted? Oh, welcome back, Thalmor.
Hey, Thalmor! Welcome to the show. You can be my guest in about 20 minutes. Then until then, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you.
Very based, Zig. Very based. Zig is it. But yes, but if you remember, Goon Squad, another news wrap-up. Hey, Lamau. The squad got their bank looted sometime this week because they did something stupid.
Goon Squad? That's pretty normal. I feel kind of bad that they still have to do their own.
You're in and out, man. You can't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah, post your favorite emoji in chat.
Thelma, we cannot hear you at all.
Yeah, you sound like a robot. Hardcore.
Um, it's not.
You sound like someone took a recording of a tube TV through a cord and then cycled it back a few times. Yeah, it doesn't sound anything like that, but
I couldn't
I
even hear him, but
I can't imagine that. I don't understand how Kentucky has this bad internet.
yeah, it's rough. Well, there's Goon Squad Bank, then there's want to just like go to CTO, the merger.
See, Goon Squad is. I feel kind of bad for them because they're a real small alliance, and
I mean, they are an Aurora extension, so
they're all
it should be
decent.
the worst.
But for some reason, despite being an Aurora extension, they still do their own offshoring for some reason, and their
Yeah.
offshore has gotten hit a lot of times, because because the guy who does the offshore, whose name starts with an X, I can't remember. He forgets to log
Zulan?
in.
No, that's Zulan.
Not Zulan. That's
Let
the
me.
Rose guy, but
Guy,
not Limmy.
I'm in Goon Squad server. No, Limi.
Go look him
He
up.
bitched at me for saying it wrong. Yep. Chad Man's looking. What the
But he's gotten
Um,
they've gotten their bank looted quite a few times, which is yeah, they should have just used Yar, or should have just not held it in an offshore. That's my solution. Unfortunately,
just hold it on your nation.
unfortunately, most people disagree with me.
Oh,
That's actually a really nice topic.
Zonri.
Yeah, Zonera.
Okay. Yeah, it's Xonera. Zonra, okay.
Yeah, Zonera. And I know Zonera well because we bought a treasure off Zonera, ghosted into Grumpy.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
mean, that's tough, though.
I keep having to get silent because I have I have a cough. The thing that we were talking about though, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for little guys because all it takes is a little bit of not paying attention and suddenly you're the laughing stock, and I feel like that's happened quite a few times to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but hopefully hopefully after this mistake, they change up certain offshoring practices of theirs and then just don't this in the future.
But
Or
that's
they just have one of the other people keep their offshore, which doesn't seem like the
But that's
biggest.
why it's really unfortunate that Village went back on his wonderful update that he started to code. I don't know if you guys didn't see it in Royal Oberst News this week. Village, the resident programmer, confessed that he had decided to, while he was redoing Wars, he decided to make it so that beige loot would come from whatever alliance you were in at the moment, as opposed to what it does now, which is beige loot from wherever you started from. This change would allow people to never have offshores again, pretty much, which I personally think is how the game should be played. That exploit should have been plugged a long time ago. And
I mean, at
can
this point, though,
you
it
guys
could be argued-
imagine Yar gets looted on day one of that change? I mean, I for one, I think that just sounds amazing. Just all the
I could
offshores
be
get
argued-
destroyed, and people actually have to like engage in the war system to protect their offshores. And
could be
everybody,
argued at that point. It's a poor
everybody's
mechanic at this point.
yeah. Epi says that doesn't end offshores. You just perma bounce. And Kigaz was saying that doesn't get rid of offshores. It just makes it more annoying. But to me, I think you guys should just stop caring so much and let it get looted, because that's you're just a bunch of pixel hugging tryhards. So, you know, just buy some cities, why don't ya? Because that's all money's
Or
good
just give
for.
me the money. Or conversely, give Zig the money. Just give one of us the money. Easy solution.
Yes, please store it in the bank of Zerg Bigadorlu. I will do very good things to it.
It was stored in the bank of Chad. Like 5675. I'm not doing my entire name. I don't even know it. I think my name's like I think it's like 15 20 characters long, so I don't even remember it.
For those that didn't catch it, the change isn't actually going to happen. Village started to code it that way and then realized his mistake and made it the actual way, that the common way. The and as far as I know, what has happened in the past has been basically there have been thoughts of changing it, and then basically the game will not work the way it normally works. The meta shift would be so massive that it's not a good idea. But I'm gonna keep promoting it, because as long as there's one of me against the world, I can still have fun with it.
Yes, Zig. Be the freedom fighter we all know you can be. You are a hero.
So Chad, did you hear?
Good.
Were you watching that video that Darkblade had?
Yeah, yeah, no, I was supposed to comment. I fucking love it, man. Look, like the mod team joke though, that hit close because that's unironically semi-true. That I've been trying to mod team for fucking ages because I kind of ran for ages. Also, is that because the sheepies mods are fucking useless, and I would do it for free half the time because it's getting something done rather than like festering problems. So, and yes, I will personally voice act my lines if Dark wants me to.
I think from what I could tell, he actually used yep,
Ben
lost,
Shapiro.
yep, Ben Shapiro, and it was kind of like,
Which is
haha,
fine.
that's funny because you actually sound kind of like.
Well, I know I do. Here's one. That's why the PFP's that way. It's the joke is that I sound like him, so that's my PFP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next. CTO merger. When did that happen? Was that recently? I guess that was kind of recent. Dead rabbits got eaten by the great elephant of Carthago. I feel like it's been a long time,
Ninja.
but that could just be because there's so much that has happened since then. So much that I've
And
had to pretty much mute the Carthago server. For those of you that don't
Ninja. If
know,
you
I
want to come on and
actually
talk about it.
I uh I disbanded my alliance at one point, and joined Carthago as well. And then a couple weeks later, now uh, Dead Rabbits have joined, and we've become. I think we're up to number 9 now on the rankings, which means Carthago might actually be relevant at some point. I don't know how I don't know if I like that, because I don't really
And
want to
it's
be
okay.
in a relevant alliance. But
Like to be relevant. It's okay. It happens to all of us sometimes.
I unmuted Tomato just to see what would happen.
For an audio, nope.
um, I don't really have anything else to say about that. Do you guys have any opinions about something that happened like 2 weeks ago?
No, but Ninja, if you want to talk about it, since I think you are Parth somewhere in Gov. So if you want to come talk about it, just like raise your hand and I'll let you in.
Technically, I am too. They actually slapped my name on the gov list, and
Okay, the Ninja is raising his hand, so I'm gonna like boop him in.
no, I
I
I
cannot.
I rose. I invited. That's what that was.
Sorry. I'm so smart, man. Thinking skills are absolutely elite. Guys, Ninja doesn't want to say anything. Next topic then. There's
Yeah,
Actually, this is my. Sorry.
Chad, fill some space. I'm gonna find a graph real quick.
Sure. So, okay, fine. I fill space. Again, I know I'm involved with shitty macro shit, so I'll go on that little tangent. So let me do a run on the micro shit that happened. Like there's like 3 micro mergers this week. Like none of them are particularly good, and they're all gonna probably blow up in like 3 weeks. But it's still funny. Micros go ha ha. Fuck. Let me check. Here's the since I need to fill time and I need to shill. So
Yeah,
currently,
what are micros? Please tell
I
me.
think I asked why are micros? How are micros though? And who are micros for that matter? More
Are you still talking? I can't remember.
fuck me, man.
So the next topic is going to be so I'm on the design team, which we are called the design team, not the dev team. And I'm going to speak in an unofficial capacity because I feel like the changes and stuff, the design team's been kind of on the more on the forefront recently, which uh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that as one of the newer members of the design team. But one of the things that people have really been railing against is this the recent change with the activity place, which used to be the Resource Production Center (RPC). Hey, I remember. But I just wanted to show you guys this graph. This is the graph of RAWs per nation over time, and uh, it's pretty hard to see because we haven't gotten enough data points. But what it looks like is that before we had a bunch of increase, and that's what we were really trying to stop. Um, you've probably seen the zoomed out version where there's basically a linear increase since RPC joined. But in the last few days, it looks like it's leveling up. Now, what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to all take some of the excess and give it to a nation, and then we're going to delete that nation. Uh, I will volunteer myself to do that because we need to get rid of these RAWs. There's too many out there. Um, I think
I volunteer. I'm a hero. Send me all your raws, man. Everyone. I'm a hero and I will delete myself.
if you guys legitimately, if you guys send me 100 million of each raw resource, I will legitimately delete as soon as that happens. What did I say? 100 million? Is there that many in the game? I don't even know. How much iron is there in the game? I will only delete if you send me 90%. Okay, so 90 probably 85 million of each raw. If you guys send me 85 million of each raw, I will delete on the spot. This is the challenge. Feel free to spread the word. See, the only way that happens is if alliances will come together and send me their raws so I can delete them. I think that's the only way for it to happen. The other thing you can do actually is if you want to create some more demand, the other way to do that is you can make a bunch of projects and then delete them again. I've done this a few times now, just to say I could. Uh, that's probably the best way. I would say is if you want to decentralize it, you can just have everyone uh, make, let's say, AUP, and then delete it and then make it again. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But Anyways, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is, yeah, it's been a big thing in the game. The RPC was clearly a problem. I posted the graph, and the change went live this week. We basically yelled at Village to actually push the simple change live. Um, it turns out that I don't know if he wants this public, but I'm gonna say it anyways. It turns out that Village doesn't want to put a lot of changes live until he's done with the big thing that people care about, because apparently he gets bullied for not doing the thing that they care about, which seems to be the war system. So as far as I can tell, there's a whole bunch of changes that are already done that are cool, and like I like one of them is like having all spies be public. I think that's one of the coolest changes ever because I suggested it. And there's a new project that allows you to change your domestic policy after one turn. That's like one of the best changes to the game that I've suggested. Darkblade, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, I was about to say something about people bullying Village about the war system. I was gonna say that that's just absolutely retarded, because you also have to realize Village has to do with Alex's code, and if anyone who knows what PHP code is like and how terrible it is would understand what Village has to deal with. And anyone who's bullying Village over this, screw you. That's all I have to say.
Praying for him because maybe have to fund his therapy bills that that code is sheesh. Even God quakes at Alex's ability to fuck shit up.
Yeah, your video was way more on point than it had any right to be. To be honest, I feel like I've seen Village burn out from that stupid code so many times.
It's like,
Yeah, he deserves a lot more credit than he gets, because the man is, like Heavy said, Village is a reason why we're still getting updates.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have like you would have like what your major update every single year, but it's not really a major update. It's probably like some minor system plus some projects, and that's your major update. But with Village, man, I gotta respect the grind, man. He might be taking all this heat, but man, I'm here to spread some love to him because he's doing God's work.
the Village Christ shall be protected. Possibly crowdfunded, because like having to deal with P&W players constantly, now that's a tough scene. And having to deal with P&W players bitching, now that's even worse. Fate worse than death, even.
True that.
Just so you guys know, Alex actually has coded stuff in recent memory. If you go onto the test server, he pushed live probably the coolest thing he's ever coded. And I actually have to go check and see if it's working right now. I haven't seen any effects yet, but apparently I'm supposed to have I think it's 1 in like 100,000 chance every turn to have your nuclear plant melt down, get destroyed, and cause a bunch of radiation. That's what Alex has coded in the last year.
Yes, it was really hard work to put that in, man. We have to really respect his like heroism.
It happened.
Man.
Looks like it happened. I gotta figure out when that happened.
Get the camera.
Zero nuclear. Oh wait, never mind. I lied. I destroyed.
Oh,
I forgot. I destroyed all of my everything.
God damn it, Village. Not Village, sorry, Zig. God damn it.
Test. You can. I do some weird stuff on the test server to. Did you know that if you have UP, AUP, any of the discounts, you can actually sell down all of your cities you can go down to City 1 if you want, at which point you can go back to after waiting a full 7 days, you can go back to City 11, I think it is, in 1 day, and it'll cost you about $10. Cities are the minimum price is $1, and you can just do that. I honestly, if I was smaller, I would actually consider doing that as like a really weird raiding strat, and just like raid really high, like prominent City 3s, get slotted, and then build up to City 10 and double buy them. I
Very based.
I haven't heard of anyone use that strat. I'm curious who did that. I only knew about it recently because
No,
someone
not
was
for a
asking
while.
about it. Someone was talking about, hey, maybe I should try it. And I was like, hey, you know what? There's a test server for that.
I think what's his name? This guy Leon. I know Leon from the Syndicate did that once during the war, before he started building up to 30, because he got himself UP at like City 11, and then he would just bounce back between those two, like City 10 and like City 3 between wars. I think he kept on doing that for like I think the Syndicate's last 2 wars before this most recent one. He did that, but he doesn't do it anymore because, well, now he's like City 34 now. But I know he like did that strat.
The dream.
Yep. Yeah, since we're ad-libbing now, I've been pressuring Darkblade, and hopefully will give us a bonus episode of what a sheepy more with good night phone call sound like. We can only hope it happens soon.
Well, you know, whoever, whenever I'm gonna do a fundraiser, whoever gives me $1 billion, I'll do it. I'm just joking, of course. No, I'll do it, but that'll be
Give
way
me $1
later.
billion on the test server.
On the test server, that's like chump change over there.
You know, I can give you some. I think I have like 96 credits left over there.
I'll have to think about that. I think
The
my account
show's
got
got to go
deleted.
like 4 seasons at least. No, 7.
Yeah,
I want 7 seasons out of this.
7 seasons. I'm gonna have to ask Alex for a multi-year deal then.
Just ask him for the regular TKR price, 3 cities and a moon landing. You're good.
I was thinking of what's that useless project? Not moon landing, the other one.
Military salvage.
Yes, I was gonna ask for 5 cities and military salvage.
Look, man, inflation isn't that bad. It's still only 4 cities military salvage and a moon landing is the current asking price. For 5 cities and nothing else. The 4 cities and a moon landing plus MS is obviously the best deal.
Well,
Exactly.
what about nuclear fallout shelter instead?
But if you knock it back down to 3 cities-
That. All right, so here's my opinion on that. I only see it viable if you're like a fat whale with like a crap ton of infra. Like we're talking, what's that guy's name? He bought up like 4250 infra, and then just lost it all.
Oh, Boyd?
Boyce, yeah.
Boyce.
So unless your name is Boyce, it's really useless. Because I believe for like nukes, I think it takes like 20% damage away when you get nuked. So I would only see it viable for that kind of reason.
Wait,
But-
does it actually do that?
Yeah, I think it
does.
reduces the amount of damage you take from nukes.
Yeah,
and
it
then-
does, but it's not very much.
Yeah. So
Oh,
unless
it's
you like,
10%. Okay.
so unless you have
No.
like a crap ton of infra, it's not really worth it, in my opinion.
It also help. It does help with somewhat with nuke rogue people. I mean, it honestly might be worthwhile at 3K if it means that, you know, if I go down, it's like the difference between 2K and 21.
I mean, if you're city 40 plus and you have like every other project at that point, I guess.
Yeah, you might as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, if
Yeah,
you have
it's
the slots.
Yeah, it's
Why
more
not?
like Yeah, it's more like a cash sink kind of project. You know, you just get it for the shits and giggles, just for the small advantages it gives you.
I've
But if I had
got
to
like
choose
3
between that and
project
other projects,
slots.
It's like if you like military salvage is like the one project. Even if you could give the slots for you, for it, I'd rather take moon landing over it. So at the very least, moon landing gives you some cosmetic advantage. Military salvage maybe give you 1 tank of war. Oh, sorry, 5 tanks of war or whatever. Fucking
and you
silly.
can
Yeah, I wanted to test that project out, and then I heard about it. I was just like, well, that's not going to be worth my time on the test server now.
No, it's so dog shit when you even buy on the test server. Just saying something.
Come on,
But I'm
guys.
more shocked by it.
Don't
Well, I'm more
Maybe if
shocked
it was
by-
like 30%.
don't
know, they
make
need
me
rebound. If they-
test things alone. Come on, guys. You guys know that I
really
test
don't.
half the stuff alone. Help me out.
I don't have time to pay attention to the test server.
Really though, I'm still shocked they didn't ever rebalance military salvage. I thought it was just gonna be they originally implemented it, it'd be shit. Then they would just bump it up a bit to make it better.
Do you know who they is?
They in this case could be anyone between Alex having a random
You?
day and saying fuck it and doing it.
yeah, it's probably the dev team, Alex and Village.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Alex.
It's gonna be one of 4 people that you could probably guess, and I
Alex
don't think
Village.
any of them care.
Alex Village pre and then fourth me Alex Village pre not SS23 not Roberts then there's 4 who could be any of a couple people.
Anyways, I have 2 more topics that I can think of, and one of them is to continue on brainstorming how to fix, well, like what other things you want to see the dev team do, because then I can yell at people to do that.
That would
The other
probably be a
thing
good, like, ending
is-
topic.
The other thing is, have you guys tried Diplomacy and Strife yet?
That's gonna be
really.
my
I
No, that's
heard
my-
that game was dying or something.
no.
No, you're
it's,
thinking
no.
of Nations at Risk.
No, Nation at Risk is dead as hell. But I'm the one. I remember this was when I was actually gonna jump on even before Thalmor didn't come. So I, for some fucking dumb reason, decided to say fuck it. Started playing more Nat Sims because fuck having a social life. What can I say? The game is okay. Being honest about it, it's about 6 months ish away from being fully ready. Still fun right now. It's still mechanically better than PW. It still lacks a whole hell of a lot of things. Working in-game messaging system, but that's in a tutorial and a flush war system, but you get the point. It's newer and it needs some work. What it is, it's good. And if you really want to roll people like Nokia, Jaden, there's tons of other like of the lol cows on there. I mean, join it. There's tons of fun people to roll. Then, although I'm not in it, Robert's Alliance is pretty good, at least in terms of people. Since I think there's like have like a fucking like good chunk of Rose, TKR, and like a couple of the major A's, high gov. So if you were gonna like, join somewhere, I'd say go there.
I wanted to share my experience, because I don't know when it was. It was it was a year ago, January, that someone came into Thalmor Radio after the show, and we had a VC, and we were like, huh, let's all join a game called Nations at Risk, and we can roll Jaden. Let's do
That
it.
was fun. No, look, I
And
did that with you.
it
That
was-
was fun.
there was zero consequence to it, and it was probably the most fun I've ever had in a nation sim, because there was a
No,
really
that
clear,
was great.
definite goal, and everyone was on board. People dropped out, people joined in. We did a merger to become Odyssey, and then we achieved our goal, and then it was like, what do we do now? And then we went forward, and we were like, all right, we're going to just keep going. and we rolled
And wrote the entire game.
digital dopamine, and then we became number one and gained the top spots. And then it was like, all right, I guess the game's over. We can all quit now.
We may or may not have killed the game, like actually, legitimately destroyed the game, and we probably killed that game. Honest about it, but it's still the fucking most fun I've ever had.
It was the second time the game died, so I don't feel too bad. Because
No,
the
I
game
don't
was
feel too
dead
bad.
before we joined, and then we joined and brought life to it.
Then killed it again. Yeah, we killed it twice.
But
But look, that was so fun. Like fucking with Jaden mercilessly for like how many months we did that, where we just rolled them in DG constantly. But it's like seeing this thing like Jaden like basically rage quit the game on us because he that the first roll he rage quits to he gets pissy because like Polar lost domination that war. He rage quit and left. Funny as shit. Then Goons squad, I think. Not Goons squad. Goons was there, I remember. Then mass deleted for some reason. And then we kind of just ran out of things to do.
and then
I mean, if you're going there, Cajun, then Politics and Wars is Cybernation's ripoff, so...
All the games names rip off each other. Like this is like a well established like trend.
yeah, the
Pairs in
A
order.
the A and B thing definitely started with P and W. But yeah, they're all rips off. They're all the same genre. It's like saying Call of Duty is a ripoff of Halo. You know, they're all the same genre, even if they have wildly different mechanics, because they're all.
I'm saying though, Diplomacy and Strife, you could argue though, ripped off Affairs and Order's name. What can I say? Could argue that because they're all ripping off each other constantly.
Do it, Cajun. If your game's good enough, we'll all join.
They pretty much have to somewhat rip off each other, because if you look at the Diplomacy and Strife player base and Politics and War player base, you could fit DNS entirely inside of PNW. Like the dev is a whale in Grumpy right now.
Like all the major people in there are like except for teaching, in which case I'm the resident PNW guy. All either led or like mostly governed by like PNW or NAR refugees. This game also is full of NAR folks because once we killed the game, they all left and then they joined here.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that, because it's like,
No, and that's why I'm in, and that's admittedly kind of why I'm personally in THC still, because like I feel
I just
bad about
want-
killing their
Oh.
game from so.
I want Lunar Wars back. Lunar Wars was a good time.
I bet if we actually got Lunar Wars back, we'd open it up, we'd start playing it, and we'd be like, oh man, this is archaic. This was definitely early 2000s or early 2010s, I guess. You know,
At
this
the
is
point,
definitely a
though-
15-year-old game.
No,
But
it
the
had to have
Wizards
been
have
like
some campy charm.
2007.
There's some charm in that, I think.
I don't remember anything about it, just that I had a good time.
Yeah, likewise. Lunar Wars, and I remember really liking Galava. I don't remember anything about it, but it was by the same dev. He made
Yeah, that
like
was
3
the,
games.
the
That was like the
medieval
night one.
version. Yeah,
Medieval run. Yeah.
I didn't play that one as much.
It definitely wasn't as popular.
Yeah, I think it died off a lot quicker.
Yep. I think it may have been the second game, and then the guy I think the guy just got a job and closed up shop. But I've
Nice.
honestly thought I found out who the dev was, and like you can find him on LinkedIn, and I've always thought, I wonder what it would take. I wonder what it would take to like buy the source code from the guy and put it up online.
Probably give you probably like 200, $300 probably.
Yeah.
If it's
Oh,
older
that's some
tech,
old school project I did.
and no, he'd probably give it to you like 100, 150 probably. If it's that old and that archaic, he probably would have zero other people buying for him. He could probably negotiate it down to 75, 100 probably. With like a decade old, I mean, she'd be happy to sell to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be cheaper than one of the village's therapy sessions, but
Except
And
unless
I'm wondering when
it's
Village
hard.
is just going to make his own game.
It's probably going to be a bit, considering, well, what I know about Village. But maybe in a couple years, I bet.
See, what needs to happen is all the coders in P&W see the band together and make their own version of P&W. They would be like the most advanced nation sim game on the market. Period.
no, I mean though, if you got like 3 or 4 of the good coders in PW all together, make their own nat sim, and do this thing I always have this issue with this is that every time, whether these single dev games, if they just literally just group project it, we got like 3, 4 devs together, made the game all together. You wouldn't have like the burnout issues where we currently have like with these one dev games where, oh wait, this guy, his parents had an issue. Nothing happens for 3, 4 weeks. Like having a multi-dev like
Yeah,
game
what
chamber nats and
What Epi said, the reason P&W is alive is because of Alex, though. The problem with a team like that, especially if it's a volunteer team, is everyone's got their own ideas about how they want it done.
I mean, at the point though,
and
it would be an effectively you would split up control of the game. Everyone get their own like ownership stake effectively. Again, I'm not fully workshopped out, but you basically give everyone their own ownership stake, and then you set up it. You basically have to write out a contract, but within the contract, there's rules regarding like what not you're allowed to do, and if you do, you can get your ownership stake like revoked, etc., depending on how you want to write out the contract. The only way you could reasonably do that, though, is having an actual like sizable like reasonably well thought out and run contract with certain like although Epi, you see though, turning it into a Game of Thrones also may be even funnier by like community perspective, therefore also do it. All I'm saying though, even if it fails miserably, entertainment value. All the new Natsims are dead, are gonna die eventually. We've killed all of them, so having one that's an absolute flame show mess, but incredibly fun, is still.
Gnome said something interesting, though, because I'm on the same page. Cybernations, Nara Nation States, DNS, and really the only one that I've been able to hold on to is P&W as well. I can't play Cybernations anymore.
Cybernations had its time, though. There was
For sure.
a point in time where it could have held your attention the same way P&W does now. It just doesn't have the player base to anymore.
It did.
And there's nothing interesting ever happens.
Cybernations held my attention for 5 years, but they also had a community of like 100,000 people.
Yeah, there was like it peaked at like 40,000 nations, but like everybody was actually playing. It wasn't like how it is in P&W where you look over and there's like, I don't know, 14, 15,000 nations, but in reality there's only maybe 3,000 people that are actually playing in a bunch of City 3s that are constantly getting raided.
Yep.
Yeah, nation states was always shitty, so there's not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless you are literally Roberts, who loves that shit. Nation states is a shitty game.
I don't understand it. Like, nothing against like people that like to role play and shit. Like, cool, good on you. But I can, yeah, there's nothing to do on the game.
No.
Well,
I mean, nation states would have worked if there was an actual war mechanic, even if it was optional in the game. It would probably like 50% extra player base right now.
Well, Nation States
It's
wasn't a game. It was an advertisement for a book in
I
the
know.
mid 2000s. A
Big
book
ass,
that
but
is kind of mid, honestly. I,
no,
I,
I
I
read the
listened to the
book.
audiobook recently, and it was like, yeah, there's some good parts, but it's honestly, eh. Did they actually
I
make
make
it
it.
into a
I
movie?
actually
Did it
read the
actually
book.
come out?
I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Movie.
So the book is Jennifer Government. Um, I remember that someone had bought the rights to it. Uh,
I read the book once upon a time. It was just mid. It was like, if you could make a game for a book, this just wouldn't be the game I'd be thinking of. And for six, I can't find
Did
anything about that.
if you can
did
find the
Two for
movie,
eight.
send it to me because as much as I thought the book was
No,
okay, uh, I still have to rep my Nation Sim history because
I mean,
I've been in
Gen
this.
for eight is a movie, but it's a thriller from '92.
I've been in this I've been with this stupid hobby since 2005. So
I'm so sorry. You've been stuck here for so long.
yeah,
I'm so
did
sorry.
my fault.
Thalmor or Lysander ever have a segment about the House Stark treaty with Guardian? Or
No, that's something we were gonna do, but that happened. But I don't know how much we can say about it. Unless
Go
you have
for
something to
it.
add.
Go for it, Ninja.
what am I supposed to say? Like I don't know. It's interesting, I
It's
guess.
treaty.
Non-chaining, so
I mean,
I
I mean,
suppose the only way you could actually get anyone else connected to House Stark involved is through defensive war.
yeah. I mean, it exists. It's a treaty. It's not a especially special treaty. It just kind of is happening.
You want me to throw my hat in the ring?
Yeah.
Sure. You go, girl.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm in Guardian, of course. So yada yada yada. But I think it's an interesting direction the game's heading in with alliances signing external treaties. Like you can see it with I think Rec Room was the first to do it, kind of. And now Hand of Fate, and then now my alliance signed a treaty with House Stark. So I think it would be very interesting politics-wise if we had a combination of like blocks and external treaties, because I think they'll bring in like the best of both worlds. Because the problem with block-based block-based
Politics.
block-based politics. Thank you. Is that let's say you want to go to war? Well, you don't really have to worry about anything, unless like people are running secret treaties or something. When you like, we want to hit this guy. And it's like, all right, so we know who we're fighting. Here's how we're going to set things up. And then boom. That's the problem with it. The problem with like, let's say with an actual treaty web, is that you have all these random alliances. You don't know who's coming in, who's not, yada, yada, yada. But I think if you combine the two, it would kind of like cancel out each other's weaknesses. So like, let's say you want to hit a block, they got a few external treaties. Well, you also have to consider, hey, are they going to come in? Or like, how are we going to handle them coming in? No. So like, in the case of, for example, let's do an interesting. Let's say Hand of Fate hits Rose. Well, now then Requiem has to decide: are they gonna defend Rose against their own ally, or how are they gonna handle this? So I hope this game goes in that direction, and I hope more alliances start signing external treaties. Not like okay, they're chaining yada yada yada, but
Yeah,
well, I mean, like the problem
counter
is that with that, like, yeah, you're increasing defender advantage, but you also have to consider that the offense has the advantage too, and like blitz advantage, you know, because if you get hit, like if someone hits another alliance, who do you think is going to have the advantage? Well, clearly it's going to be the alliance that initiates that war, because you're going to be able to declare the war. They already have everything organized, and they're just going to do their attacks immediately. You know?
I have a bit of a question on the non-chaining clause thing. So I'm going to throw a scenario out there and let me know like how this works exactly.
Sure.
Let's say Florida decided to blitz Fortuna, and they got House Stark on board, and so they go and they blitz Fortuna, right? And then Midgard decides they're going to get involved, and so they hit Florida along with House Stark. Does the fighting pacifists have a obligation to defend House Stark, or no?
It depends. So, for example, let's go to the let's go back to Wayward. So you remember Cataclysm wanted to go hit Midgard, help AR out. So in the case like this, what should have happened? What in this likely scenario is like, hey, we want to go hit these guys, okay? But TS didn't want to. So how it was going to be is that holy cow, hold on, let me rephrase this. So, you know, let's just redo the whole thing. So in the case of like, okay, House Stark's like, all right, they go tell TFP, all right, we're gonna roll up on Fortuna with Florida. It would really depend on what they agree on. So in the case of like TFP is like, hey, if you hit Fortuna, any retaliation from any other spear is not our problem. And if they agree to that, and then House Stark gets hit by like, let's say Midgard, then yeah, TFP is not going to be liable. In the case of like, okay, with UFO's like, TFP is like, all right, you go do that. And House Stark gets hit by another spear, then yeah, TFP should be obligated to join in. It's just a matter of communication and what both parties agree on. That's just how I see it. And it's the same thing with like Requiem. So, you know, if Florida's like, hey, we're gonna go beat up like Odu or Fortuna, you know, if Requiem doesn't want to go in, they don't have to. And if they want to tell Florida or Rose, hey, if you get hit by another spear, we don't want any obligation to defend you. And if that's what they agree on, then that's what they agree on. There's no like worst case scenarios that like we have like this weird politics dynamic to where everyone's like non-chaining treaties just start chaining for all of a sudden, and that gets really messy. But I think as long as people just discuss things, and we don't have a situation like Wayward where both sides don't really discuss it properly and just things get all messy, should be good.
I think these ODOAPs are rather interesting too.
I prefer to see them as clause treaty. You know, like, hey, we won't defend you unless these specific conditions are met. You know, that's just how I see them.
That's
but
not.
They
oh,
also
that's a C.
They also open an aggressive clause as well, right? So if ODO wanted to hit someone, and they talked to Hand of Fate, and Hand of Fate talked to Grumpy, and they were both on board, that's two big whale alliances that are all of a sudden integrated within their sphere that gives them a massive boost.
Well, I don't know about Bourbon Street, but I will say I think Mulaney said put it this way. He said that treaty is for Cataclysm, not the rest of ODOO. And he specifically said that he's not going to help TKR at all. He's only going to be there for Cataclysm, per se. So I think in a situation where, and he said this in wrong, by the way. I think in a situation where, you know, ODOO wants to hit someone else, I think Cataclysm's going to have to do a lot of convincing to bring Hand of Fate in. That's just my opinion.
I think it depends. If Hand of Fate has a bone to pick with the sphere that they want to hit, they'll probably say yes.
Yeah,
Or if they
I
could
guess
win.
that's also true. I don't know.
So the problem I
But
see with it is if you're playing a war, okay, one of those people has an optional defensive treaty. What do? Do you preempt the optional defense? At which point, it's no longer optional, or do you just wait for them to blitz you in retaliation? And that's the part where I think Epi was talking about. It's a big defender advantage. That is really how I see it. It's a big defender advantage. Is you
Right,
you
'cause
either
it's a
basically
gray
got to
area.
preempt. You either got to preempt, or you're gonna allow your enemy to have the blitz advantage. And as you know, the blitz advantage is such a huge thing. So it's probably safer in a lot of cases to just not attack at all and just not even bother with war. Or to wait until you have such a huge coalition that you can just take on the rest of the game. I honestly, I could see the optional defense stuff happening until the next global, and then watching as people just disregard it. I think I've been saying that since the beginning. Is that you can say all you want, but at the end of the day, for strategic reasons, people might just preempt you and ignore the fact that you have an optional treaty and make it not optional.
I guess you do make a point there. But in regards of like this massive treaty chaining, all that stuff, I think like you can't. I don't know. My thing is I don't really see much politics in the wars we fight. It's just usually all right. We're gonna hit these guys. We're gonna call it a day, But I think, and it's usually only politics about it is just like talking to your guys. All right, you do the war, and then when it's time for when it's time to peace, you talk to the other guys like, all right, here's our terms, yada yada yada. But I think what I'm hoping is, I don't know, because I've never really experienced it, because I joined in like at the start of this mini at the block
After MPO last time.
Yeah, I literally joined like 3 months after MPOLT ended, so the game was in the recovery mode at that point. But
speaking of MPOs last time, I still really miss the old ground control. I think it was a better dynamic to the game, and I understand why they took it away, but it was a lot more interesting, and the game today would be a lot more interesting with it.
Remind me, what was the old ground control?
It cut 33% of a person's air force.
It doesn't do that anymore?
No, now it destroys your air force after you gain ground control. Depending on how many tanks you have.
Yeah, the helicopter tanks. Oh, is it Epi's turn? It is Epi's turn.
Let's make this a discussion.
All right, Epi, tell us why Darkblade is wrong.